Oh, we're good. Welcome back to the show, guys. Today we have a special guest. I was a fan of this man's podcast maybe a year or longer ago, and it was just crazy meeting him in person. It was kind of a crazy story how it happened. I'll get into that later. But this man, he's I don't even know where to begin on his accolades. This guy, he's a ex-Muay Thai fighter. He fought for many, many years, doing WCK, I believe IFS too. I saw an IFS fight, correct me if I'm wrong. He's also, he was a coach, currently retired, but I'm sure you guys have heard of the gym MTK, Muay Thai Kickboxing Los Angeles. My man is the man that started it, trained under Kru Rex, the legendary. Please welcome to the show, Neil
Chatchaiyan.
Chatchaiyan.
There you go. Chatchaiyan.
Chatchaiyan.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Neil Chatchaiyan, a.k.a. Kru Neil. That's what I'll be referring to him because it's easier. Welcome to the show, Kru.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to interrupt this for 1 second because I forgot my phone and I have notes on here.
Okay.
And we're back. But Neil, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. You just recently received a Coach of the Award.
Wow.
Which is the irony is that you don't really coach anymore, but you do kind of coach two people. But do you feel has anything changed since you got that award since then?
Honestly, nothing's really changed. I've always been the same person. I would say just the recognition. A lot of students that trained under me in the past, and I'm talking years, have reached out to me and just said it's well deserved, long overdue, and just giving me very nice, kind words. Lots of messages, just thanking me for all the years of helping them in any way that I did. So that's probably the one thing that changed. But I've always been the same person. It was honestly an honor though, Mo, being at that award and getting it. I really didn't think, I didn't even bother making a speech because I'm not going to win. I'm seeing the people that I'm categorized with. I'm like, it's an honor to be categorized with these people, but I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to win against these people. And so when they called my name, I was like, wait, what? I was like, shoot. Oh man, so I was trying to come up with a little speech, but I mean, it was just an honor being recognized with those big name people on that list. So it was definitely an honor. It was a really cool honor.
Yeah, I'm glad you won that. I saw the list, and I think it was well deserved. I've seen your gym grow so much throughout the years. I unfortunately haven't had the opportunity to check it out. That was one of the gyms I wanted to check out because I know you guys came from Muay Thai America. You kind of have a lineage from them. Yeah. So I was like, it'd be cool to check out MTA, then MTK, the new generation. I just haven't gone around to that. But that was a beautiful moment. I also think that you or Ezra should have gotten the Podcast of the Year award. I don't know how I ended up getting that, but your two podcasts I love, dude. I know Ezra's still going. Yours, I'll still watch some of your old episodes sometimes.
Thank you.
You're still on YouTube,
Yeah. It was just something different because when we launched it hadn't really been done yet, but podcasts were really starting to build some steam, right? A lot of people were doing it, and we just thought, man, it would be such a cool idea to we were thinking of how Muay Thai has really impacted so many people, including myself. I'm like, why not do a show about that? And so that's kind of how it sparked. And then we started with just members of the gym, and we had members that were just telling all kinds of crazy stories. And then I started thinking outside the box. I was like, you know what? I need to venture out and not just do my students, but let me go to coaches that were, ex-fighters. I was trying to eventually get into promoters. Just talking to anyone who's in the Muay Thai world, I wanted to bring them on the show because I wanted to share their story, and I feel like a lot of gym owners don't necessarily get a chance to share their story of how they got into Muay Thai and why have they been doing it for this long, because I'm sure the coaches that are listening to this podcast today, we just focus on other people, and a lot of times we don't really get to share our story unless somebody asks. Right, so it was kind of I thought it was a cool way to kind of give them a platform to share that. So it's cool. That's why I was honored to be on this, because you're doing the same. You're continuing that lineage and bringing on fighters, promoters, and I'm all about that. That's cool.
My favorite people to interview are coaches.
Really?
No offense to the fighters or anyone else, but it's because it's different. You guys had done it, and then now you're on this new trajectory of life where you're trying to bring other people up. But my favorite thing about talking to like coaches is just hearing the history of Muay Thai in America and how it's progressed. You know, it's like even just talking to you when you talk about Kru Rex, it just gives me a little bit of insight of how it was like, 20 years ago out here, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
And unfortunately it's like Kru Rex isn't around anymore, so it's not like I could get it from him. So this is like the next best thing.
Yeah, because it's funny, a lot of people that maybe know that, oh, that's Kru Neil is Kru Rex's son. I can share the story if you don't mind, if you want to hear it. Yeah. So, I think I talked about in the interview, like, how did I get into Muay Thai? Well, I saw the movie Kickboxer, the 1989 version with Van Damme. It had just gotten released in the theater. I asked my mom to take me, and at that time, my mom just met Kru Rex. So he's with us. Keep in mind, we didn't know what he did this on the side. So after I watched the movie, fall in love with it, I'm like, oh man, like this is so great. And Kru Rex asked me, hey, you like this? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I teach at MTA X amount of days. The next time I go teach a class, I'll take you with me. I was so excited. So that's kind of how I got ventured into MTA. And for people that don't know, MTA was the first Muay Thai gym in the Valley. And this is like, I got introduced to Muay Thai in 1989. So 1989, like that was the only Muay Thai gym out there, and they would have like celebrities. Even Van Damme trained at MTA, and any Thai fighters that would travel from Thailand to come fight in the US somewhere, they would train at MTA, like leading up to their fights. So that was kind of cool. And then Kru Rex started teaching there full time. My mom starts helping out in the office area, and that's kind of how MTK began. Like, we started with them, and then it was the old owner, not Kru Puck, but the owner before Kru Puck. I guess Kru Rex and him had like they weren't getting along very well, so that's what made us brand into building MTK. And so my mom made it happen. And 1994 MTK is born, and then fast forward X amount of years, 2018, my mom officially gives me the keys.
2014?
2018.
Oh, 2018.
Yeah. So she gives me the keys and is like, son, it's yours now. And so that's when I'm like, all right, I need to make the changes. Like, I want to revamp the logo. I want to revamp just everything, and so I started teaching in 2004, and then from 2004 to 2018, I decided, you know what, I want to put a halt on training fighters. I just want to open the floodgates to the masses, to people that just want to learn Muay Thai, or people who think Muay Thai is too brutal and I can't do that because they're scared they're going to get hurt. I wanted to reach out to both sides of people and say, you know what, you can do it. Let me provide a space, an environment for anyone, whether you're a woman, child, man, like whatever, whether you're looking for a different type of workout, you want to learn self-defense, we got you. And so that's kind of how I rebranded MTK to be. And then after 3 years of just building the brand, like I was telling you earlier, then I started having more students that like really were interested in competing. So I said, you know what, the gym is doing a lot better now. Okay, let me focus on that aspect. And so that built up the whole thing. And then it was kind of neat to see when we would come to the fights, like I said, commissioners, referees, judges, coaches, they would always tell me like, Kru Neil, your gym is something else. And we literally would be one of the loudest gyms in the convention centers, if not the loudest. Like it was pretty cool to see just the community and the camaraderie that like I promoted amongst people. And then a lot of people that got introduced to Muay Thai because of me and because of the gym that I was associated with MTK, and just making my mom proud. And like I would always say, I know Kru Rex is proud because he's looking down and being like, damn, like my son's doing this, like this is cool. So it was just kind of neat to like experience all that, and then just to pass the beauty of Muay Thai, as you know, it helps us in so many ways. So
yeah, that's beautiful. So MTK, you guys have 2 locations, right?
2 locations.
So were you a part of the first location? Because the one that you were at was the second one, correct?
No, first one.
Oh, I had it backwards.
First one.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So little history. In 1994, MTK was born. We started our gym in Van Nuys. And then 1999 or 2000, we had to move a little bit over in Van Nuys. So we were close to the Panorama City High School. And then in like 2009, 2010, that whole area got knocked out, and they built an elementary school. I think it's Obama's wife, Michelle Obama. Oh. So it's called Michelle Obama Elementary School. So yeah, so then we moved to another location that was in Van Nuys. We were there from 2010 to 2014, and then 2014 we moved to North Hollywood. Mm-hmm. So that was like our fourth location. But what was kind of neat was each location we moved to, my mom and I, the location got a little bit bigger each time. So when we landed in North Hollywood, that was our biggest spot. It was just shy of 5,000 square feet. And then five years later, then was able to open up a second gym in Glendale.
Yeah, for some reason I thought the Glendale one was who runs the social media account? Is that the North Hollywood one?
So it's the same guy. When I retired, my business partner hired a social media guy. So he
I thought
does
that was a coach, right?
Oh no,
because my coach runs the social media.
Really?
So I'm thinking, I was like, damn, this guy's like really tech savvy, bro. Making all these cool videos, bro.
No, we've always kind of ran it on our own. Well, not really ran it on our own, but like we had a guy that would do it, and then I would jump on there a lot to post specials, promotions, events, things going on. I would be on. So I was the face of MTK, obviously. And then when I retired, that's when my business partner was like, all right, I need to hire someone to do all this. You know, I've been trying to push him to like do it. He didn't do it when I was around.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that having a social media presence is, if you want to grow your gym, that's kind of important. Because that's what everyone looks up now. As though I'll look for a gym, and then the next thing I do is I go on their IG page.
Absolutely.
And I'll be looking at pictures, training, before I decide if I'm going to go check it out,
Absolutely, because you can kind of get an idea on the vibe of the place just by looking at the social media. I totally agree, because you might check the website for prices, you might call, but you're going to go on social media to see what does this gym look like, how are the people, how are the coaches, who are the coaches. Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I agree, Mo.
Yeah, so I think you guys are definitely ahead of the curve with that. I think you and another gym that comes to mind is Misfits. It's an MMA gym. I don't know if you heard of him.
No.
Yeah, Frankie. I can't remember the guy's name. Frankie something. But he also has like a social media presence on his gym.
That's awesome.
And I just seen from when he started to where he's at now. The growth was like just 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He makes good content.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of these new gym owners, or not new, old gym owners, are going to have to kind of navigate, is the social media thing. Because I feel like the traditional way is just train your fighters go out, they fight for you, and they represent your gym, and then you have your group classes where you try to give good specials, a good workout,
Yeah.
But if you don't have a social media presence, no one's going to even come through the door nowadays,
That's right. Yeah, it's definitely one of the free ways to get people through your doors. You can go other routes too. You can hire consultation companies. But honestly, there's nothing like free.
No. Yeah.
You talk to someone who's tech savvy, who can handle social media, and they can do a good job.
Yeah.
If you find the right person. So.
I agree. That's something I'm trying to get Spider on more. I'm gonna try to help Frankie with more social media stuff. We just got a pet tarantula too, so I'm sitting here like, we can make cool videos with this guy. We can just live stream him eating or something. It's quick and easy,
what's crazy is that there's a niche for everything. So there's an audience for that.
They're out there. Coach, if you're watching. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, you've been involved with Muay Thai for so long, and it's like you said earlier, when you first started, you guys were the only gym in Van Nuys. What was it like watching the growth of the sport, watching it evolve, seeing other gyms pop up, seeing more people start running their own?
It was shocking. It was like, oh, shoot. But then it was really cool, because then it was just like, if it would have stayed the same with only a couple gyms here and there, the sport wouldn't be what it is today. At least in California, it wouldn't be what it is today. So the fact that more gyms are opening up, it makes me happy, because it shows the life of Muay Thai, the lifeline is growing. You know what I mean? And that makes me happy. I've been doing Muay Thai, like I was telling you, for 36 years, and nothing makes me happier than doing Muay Thai. I just recently started being able to hit the bag again. Like, my injuries and stuff are allowing me to do it. Mo, I can't tell you how happy I am now. Like, I'm not even like hitting the bag crazy, but just hitting it. Oh my gosh, I feel so good. And it just reminded me of, this is how much I love Muay Thai. Like, I can't get away from it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I've witnessed my spider Muay Thai grow. Recently I thought about it because one of my teammates, Julio, he posted a picture from like 6 or 7 years ago, right? And the caption was just like, this used to be a full class, and it was like 12 of us, dude, you know?
Wow.
And now it's like a big class, it's like 40 students, you know? It's like we're moving to a new, bigger location.
Absolutely.
So when I was driving over here, I was thinking about that, and I was like, damn, Kru Neil, I like witnessed that, but like on such a bigger scale, because it wasn't just his gym growing, it's like he's seeing all these other gyms grow and pop up out of nowhere, you know?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people, if they're not excited, what's the word I'm looking for? There's you know that word when there's abundance, right? If they don't have the abundance mindset. There's millions of people in LA. Don't worry, just because a new gym's popping up, there's plenty of people to go around. And then I love Muay Thai's getting the most exposure today than it did 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Way more people are more familiar with the term Muay Thai nowadays. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's crazy because the 90s was like a big time for Muay Thai, but it was only to like the people that were in that world. It's like the average person didn't understand, and they had so many crazy, especially LA, dude. LA had some crazy fights back in the 90s.
Absolutely. Like, I love the Thais versus kickboxing. Like, that was so cool. And I remember, I don't know if you ever knew about it. I think it was at the Olympic Auditorium. It was like in 1989. It was like the first fight I went to. You ever heard of Seksan Janjira?
Mm-hmm.
So he was in a card. It was Thais versus American kickboxers. And then in this bout, you can see it on YouTube if you type it up, Seksan Janjira Brawl, Muay Thai Brawl. Like, I was 9 years old, Mo. And so I'm not going to give like the backstory unless you want it, because I know the backstory. I know the backstory. So what happened was Kru Rex was training Seksan at that time at MTA.
Wait, Saxon from Saxon Muay Thai? Or?
Yeah. But the real Seksan, like the real guy.
The dad, right?
He's now in Texas now.
Yeah.
But the real Seksan. So I remember being a kid watching him train for the fight. I'm like, dude, this dude's going to beat up this American kickboxer. And that's what everyone thought too. And so I guess a few days before the fight, Seksan's friends come over and they just start taking him out partying and drinking. And so he's just, because I guess he's very confident, like, I'm going to wipe the floor with this dude, right? So he just starts kind of laxing off, partying, drinking. And so when the fight comes, the American kickboxer's hungry. He's coming to fight, and he knocks Seksan down with a left hook. Bow! Hits, and you see Seksan's like neck really ricochet and hit the canvas. Seksan gets up. He's really angry, and he really starts coming at the American kickboxer now. But as the fight progresses, just a bit of like dirtiness on Seksan's part, because he's just frustrated. He's just like, this dude's hitting me. He shouldn't be hitting me. So it turns out, I remember at the very end, Seksan gets him in a rear naked chokehold. So the guy, Rod Key, drops, puts his knee on the ground. Seksan knees him in the chest while he's on the ground. And then Rod Key starts to complain to the referee. And then as he's breaking away, Seksan knees him in the face while he's on his knees. Ruckus occurs. The ref puts them on both corners. People are booing. Like, it was bad, right, Mo? And then, long story short, Seksan gets disqualified. Rod Key goes to like shake Seksan's hand. I'll never forget. Seksan smacks his hand away. All hell breaks loose. All different corners come up. there's a lot of big of a Thai crowd there. This is why they strap chairs down now, believe it or not, because that's when chairs weren't strapped down. People were picking up metal chairs, tossing them around. I remember Kru Rex, once he realized, okay, Seksun's safe, he ran up the stairs to get me and my mom and my little sister to take us to the back room because he's like, we got to get you out of here. Like, this is not safe right now. And chairs just being flying. I remember Cecil Peoples, he's just like getting hit with chairs. He's like trying to block. Security guards are getting, you can see it on YouTube.
I'll
for
check
anyone
it out.
that's listening,
So
like it's crazy, but I was there.
Yeah.
It was the first fight I'd ever seen of Muay Thai. I was like this.
Sick.
I was like that. I couldn't believe what was like I was seeing.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out. Like it's historic. And then unfortunately because of that riot, Muay Thai rules got banned.
Oh.
So for many years it was just kickboxing now. It was just punches and kicks. So when I started fighting at 14 to about 20, I was 22, 21, 22, that's when they started allowing knees.
Back in?
Yeah, knees back in, but you couldn't knee to the face. And no elbows yet. Elbows weren't allowed until 2005 in Vegas only.
Only Vegas?
Yeah, only in Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. Shout out Vegas.
Yeah, and then shortly after that, then like it started opening up again. But it took that long for Muay Thai to kind of get pushed back into the system where people were like, okay, we'll let Muay Thai be Muay Thai now.
Yeah.
So most of my career was kickboxing, punches and kicks. Couldn't catch kicks. Like it's crazy to think back like that.
That was like the old school kickboxing rules too, the gay ones, not the cool ones we see today. You know, the ones we see today is basically considered like Dutch kickboxing. I would say more than like that kickboxing.
They blend Muay Thai, Dutch boxing. Like it's kickboxing. When you see kickboxers now, they're pretty much Muay Thai fighters. Like
they're just taking out the elbows and sweeps.
That's
pretty much.
it.
Yeah. I mean, they allow low kicks now and knees. I think to the face now, right? At least in Glory.
They do. And I don't know, like if you watch One Championship, even in kickboxing, you can't even grab the neck and knee once. They don't even allow that. So I'm like, wow, some of the rules have changed in certain organizations.
Yeah, they have a weird one with the head knees. You can't pull their head down to knee them, but you can still knee them in the head. You just can't pull them down, which is kind of, how do you tell if they pulled them down or if they just held them? Yeah. It's kind of like on.
So it's like, from what I've seen, refs, like if the fighter grabs a hold of the head and knees the face, they warn them. They're like, hey, don't pull. Even though the fighter didn't pull, you just can't wrap your hand around their head and knee them in the face.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
I know, you gotta get that flying knee. The flying knees. Speaking of One, dude, I think right now One has probably the best, I wouldn't say the best, but the biggest kickboxing, Muay Thai striking promotion, you know?
Absolutely. Because I was a big fan of Glory back in the day, but I feel like they've kind of lost the steam a bit. And then K1 was awesome back in the day, but I feel like with all the politics of, if you remember Buakaw getting robbed many times, making him do extra rounds, changing the rules of the clinch because of him. Yeah. Like, I don't know, I just felt like that kind of K1 just wasn't the same anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love K1 too, but once they started getting weird with the Muay Thai fighters and changing the rules, it's kind of like, it's not that I stopped watching it, it's just around that time you start seeing other promotions come up and then like even the local promotions have got better at that time, like WCK started putting on bigger fights. Absolutely. So I was just like, I'm gonna watch this. It's like Muay Thai diet, or diet Muay Thai. Even though they had all the big names though. I loved Glory so much. That was like one of my favorite things to watch. They got sold like so many times, like I think 5 or 6 times. I think a European company just bought them out recently, but they were I think some company in Asia owned them for a while, and they kind of like disappeared. I don't know what happened, but they're bringing Glory back. They're gonna put on a fight this year. Oh, okay. So I'm excited for that. Cool. Yeah, I might see you there. I might want to check it out. Yeah, if it's around here, I'm so down. Yeah. I mean, right now I'm just hoping we'll start pushing more into the United States. That'd be cool. That would be cool. They've done like 1 or 2 in Colorado, so it's close. Yeah, they did 2. I think 2 so far. Yeah, it'd be really cool if one can get with like the local promotions, maybe WBC, because they're pretty big, and set like something up with them. That'd be really cool. That would be. Because I want to see one in the United States, but I want like our people to get brought up with that, which I think is what they would do, right? Yeah. That'd be kind of mean if they just ignored all the local promotions. Well, yeah, because if they do that, I mean, if they bring in local fighters, the local fans are going to come.
You need
to support.
You got to fill the undercard, right?
Absolutely.
So that'd be cool if you see WBC. WCK would be cool, but I don't think they know what WCK is at this point. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not a thing. I love WCK. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they've been in the game for so long. They've been in the game for so long. They were. Dennis was always putting on like great shows, bringing on like fighters from Europe, fighters from Thailand. Like he's gotten some great matchups like over the years. I just discovered he's got a YouTube channel now, like WCK. So you can see they have some fights loaded up right now. It's pretty cool. You'll see some like old school ones where you're like,
Actually, I'm sorry. Go on.
oh no, that was it.
I spoke to Dennis a long time ago, and I remember I used to always tell him, I'm like, bro, I love WCK. It's like one of the best like fight promotions just in general, not even just here in California, just in general, you know, in America. But you guys need to do more with like your videos. You got to put them, archive them or something, so people can watch them. You know, that was the big thing. Is I remember I could never find their fights, dude. My homies would fight for them, and I don't know where the videos would be.
Yeah.
But I remember he told me, he's like, I'm paying a guy right now. He's like, I have all the videos. They're going through everything. They're gonna put it online. It'll be released eventually, you know?
I love that.
So I'm glad that he finally did it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to catch some of my fights on there too, because believe it or not, when I was like revamping MTK, you know, we had like a section of like old school DVDs, VHS.
That's cool.
Right? So I tossed all the VHS. And then the DVDs, all my fight DVDs were in that pile and accidentally got tossed out. So I have no memories whatsoever, but I know Dennis has got some of them in his archive. So I'm excited. I hope one day I will see some of my fights, so at least I have memories where I can like show some people, you know.
Yeah, I was actually looking for some of your fights. They're hard to find, dude. I didn't really find many, to be honest.
But then keep in mind, too, the era I fought in, it wasn't...
I figured.
You know what I mean? And then I lost all my whole DVD of fights. I'm just like... And then at that time, some venues didn't even allow you to bring the camcorders, you know?
Yeah, they're still like that.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, when you were fighting... So I think, now there's kind of, it's easier to track records and all that. I think IFL does a pretty good job, or IFS, is it IFS? Or IFL? I always get confused between the two. But I think when you were coming up, they weren't even like around really. They were like still starting out.
Yeah, that's why I said like seeing Muay Thai grow has been so awesome, because now people are starting to keep track of people's records. Back in my time, you could lie.
Yeah.
You could be from Thailand with 200 something fights, and would be like, I've never fought before. Like, I would see guys from Armenia like come, no one knew who they were, and they would come to like the smokers just to get tune-up fights, and they'd be like, oh yeah, no, they don't speak any English, just a little bit, and they say, oh, I don't have any fights. And so they'll fight with someone, they just beat them up like as a punching bag, but they can only do it once.
Yeah, because then you're
now all the coaches in Southern California knew like, oh, watch out for that guy.
Yeah.
So, but
what's the point of that? What do you get from that?
I don't know.
Just to be sewn up, I guess.
Yeah, but that was just an example. Like people could come from anywhere, and you wouldn't know who they were. There was no way of tracking them. Mm-hmm. So we've come a long way from that.
Yeah,
a long way.
I spoke with because of the Muay Thai Awards. I met Tony Fossum.
Oh yeah.
So she like enlightened me on the history of the scorekeeping and all that, and how before it was literally like just took it out of your word. You can literally just like what you said, just sign up to somewhere. Maybe you have a lot of fights, maybe you have 0 fights, and you just sign up to be a pro. You know.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one thing that's definitely like has helped the sport grow, is being able to record keep, because you can't put on a good fight if you can't verify a fighter, you know?
Exactly. And if people aren't going to be honest, it's not going to be a good matchup.
Yeah. It all comes down to the matchups. Well, the last WCK event I went to was on the 15th. I was entertained by the amateurs because like Dennis and Hung did a good job at just matchmaking. So even though they weren't as technical as like some of the pros or the champions, it was a good fight because the level was like equal. I'll watch a slobber knocker as long as I'm watching a slobber knocker from both sides, because then you're like, this guy's winning. Oh, this guy's winning now. That's exciting,
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, or record keeping, that's definitely helped the sport just grow perpetually right there.
Absolutely.
What was it like doing smokers back then? Was it kind of similar to how it is now?
I think all the people in the game that have been, with me will all agree the smokers back in our day were way better.
Better?
Just because there was no politics. It wasn't about money. It was like any small gym owner, if you had a decent space, you could promote it. You could you would mail out flyers to all the gym owners that you knew and say, hey, I'm hosting a smoker. Let me know if you have any fighters. And then as the months progress, coaches will start sending you fighters, and then the gym owner will try to match people up, do the same thing: weight, height, experience. And then the day of, they would do the weigh-in and match people up the best that they possibly could. All the coaches would volunteer their time to be a ref, a judge. You would typically have some ringside doctor who was a friend of the gym owner. They would come through, and it was legit. It was headgear, shin guards, gloves, no elbows, knees were okay. You could catch kicks. We followed all the rules like in a big venue show. And that was it. And it gave people actual experience. It wasn't this point sparring stuff. Like you were actually, the PKBs. You actually fought in these smokers. So and then promoters would come and get to see new prospects and new talent that, you know what, I like this guy here in the red corner. How many fights has he had? Ooh, okay, you know, and would talk to the coach. Hey, I'd like to see him on my next show over at the Hollywood Park Casino. So it was a way for fighters to build themselves up the real way. Actual fighting, no knockouts, no 60%. Like, to me, I'm just old school, Mo, so I'm not a fan of the PKBs. Mm-hmm. Don't call it a fight. It's not a fight. You're not really fighting. You're sparring. It's a glorified sparring match. Like, you want to fight. Like, call up the promoters. There's plenty of opportunity. The stuff you do in PKBs, you can do in your own gym. Or go visit a gym and you can go spar hard. Like, that's literally, to me, what a PKB is. But I'm old school, though. You know, I grew up in a different time. And all of us fighters grew up fighting in those smokers. And then when it was time, when we felt like we had enough smokers under our belt, we would advance, no gear, let's go. And then when it's ready, pro.
Yeah.
So, it's just a different time.
Yeah, I asked because nowadays it's like they treat it like there's like paperwork involved and it's like lists and stuff, and it just seems a lot more like organized. But like what you said, it's become more of like just a hard sparring, you know? Yeah, like I'm a little bit younger than you, so when I first started doing, when I first was doing PKBs, there it was like how it is now. But I always heard stories like from some of my like teammates that have been doing it longer. They're like, yeah, back in the day we could knock each other out. Yeah. There's no doctor or anything.
Yeah.
So I always wondered what it was like, and the word smoker, I always like thought about like just like you're just in this room, it's dark or something dingy, and you're just like, you know, just beating each other up.
Yeah. But no, it was legit. Like the smokers, you know, obviously the gym turns off the lights, sets up lighting where it's on the ring.
Yeah.
You have an announcer. Like it was legit. And the cool thing was the many times I've gone to smokers, I mean, the worst I ever saw were occasional, maybe oh, he thinks he broke his arm. Mm-hmm. Oh, he thinks he broke his nose. Okay, he got knocked out. But all the times that I've ever seen anyone get knocked out, there was always a ringside doctor there at the smoker. Mm-hmm. It was just a doctor that was a friend of the gym owner that was there just in case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was always safe. And if you talk to anybody that was during that time, they will all say, yeah, it was safe. Like everything was very well kept. You know, there was never any trouble. You know, what I saw, the transition was when underground fights for MMA started. That's when the commissioners started coming in and saying, you know what, you guys need to stop this. I remember it was very big in like between 2002 to 2005. Mm-hmm. I remember going to some underground MMA and I'm like, dude, this looks like /movie / professional. But it was not professional. It was like you had referees that weren't really good referees. Guys were getting their elbows snapped because they weren't aware of what's going on with the action. They weren't like familiar with jiu-jitsu, so they didn't really know when to step in. They didn't see taps. You know, people were throwing elbows. You know, in smokers, we weren't throwing elbows, but in MMA, they were allowing them to throw elbows to the face. It was like, whoa, this is gnarly. You know, so when commissioners caught word, they shut those down, and then at the same time, they're like, you know what, we're going to shut the Muay Thai smokers down. Yeah,
they probably saw it as all the same. Probably boxing too, or it's like too much. Man, you always got some dude in Washington just messing things up. Remember when they had like that war with MMA in like the later 90s?
Actually, yes.
Dude,
Yeah.
there's people like in Congress trying to ban like UFC and all that. They're saying like it was a blood sport or something like that. I mean, it is, I guess, but they're not trying to kill each other for the most part.
That's why I think UFC did a great job of like Dana White and just him and his business partners just making it into like, we're turning it into a sport. There's gonna be lots of rules and regulations, and that's what changed the game. Like it allowed it to keep going, and look what it is now.
Yeah.
MMA is all over the place.
I know. I feel like it's eclipsed Muay Thai. I'm a little salty, but I love MMA, but I'm always Muay Thai first,
But one thing I will say, and I'm sure you'll agree, MMA gave more exposure to Muay Thai too, though, because MMA fighters were like, what do you learn? Oh, well, my striking is Muay Thai. Boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. So what's Muay Thai? Oh, it's from Thailand. Like then we started getting a lot more exposure because of that. So can't blame them.
Yeah.
Can't blame them for that. But now it's cool because now I see Muay Thai really on the rise as well. People really love Muay Thai. I want to say people are really starting to love Muay Thai more now than ever.
Yeah, it's definitely become a lot more like commercial, I would think. You see it everywhere. And I definitely, because the UFC, like ONE FC, Bellator, I think they've really, even though they're not Muay Thai, they implement Muay Thai a lot, and that's really just giving it a platform,
Absolutely.
I know Bellator used to have kickboxing, that was tight.
That was cool. I wish it would have lasted longer.
I know,
though.
what happened with that, dude?
Yeah, they were putting up some good fights too, some good matchups.
Yeah, they got sold to the PFL, and I was like, it'd be cool if the PFL just kept the kickboxing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
like a year ago. It was kind of messed up. It was a bad sell. They were honoring the contracts for some of the fighters from Bellator.
Oh, shoot.
So you had like the top 5 guys that were getting like, a couple $100,000 per fight.
Yeah.
And I guess PFL didn't want to pay that, so they just shelved them. So they just basically didn't give them any fights, so they didn't have to pay them that money, So it was unfortunate. I thought it would be a good thing, and then when I saw how it panned out, I was kind of like bummed,
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dang. I didn't know that. That's cool information.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. It's my job, bro, to pay attention to all this stuff. It's hard. It's so hard to remember.
No, I hear you.
But yes, Muay Thai, so you've been doing it for most of your life. You fought Lumpini.
Yeah.
What was that like, man?
That was probably the coolest experience. To give you a little backstory, I fought in Thailand for the first time in 2004, so the year prior. At that time, I was actually having trouble finding fights, like here in SoCal. Dennis Warner was like trying to get me fights, and he's like, Neil, I'm sorry, like they don't want to fight you. They're saying no. There's just different excuses. And I said, what? For anyone that maybe knows my style, I was known for 2 things: leg kicks and my clinch.
Very traditional.
Yeah. And so in 2004, I'm having trouble finding fights. The only time I would find fights was guys that just would be like, nah, I'll fight them. Like they were true fighters. They'd fight anyone. So Kru Rex knew a guy in Thailand that owned a gym. He asked about me, how's your son doing? And he's like, can't find him fights. He's like, bring him to Thailand. I'll get him a fight. And sure enough, I got a fight. And I ended up fighting in a show, Thais versus Foreigners.
They do that, like Max Muay Thai does that a lot. Just Thailand in general does that, Channel 8,
Yeah, so it was a very interesting experience, but they loved how I performed. Even though I lost, I got cut from an elbow in the 4th round, and I just remember blood being everywhere. And then so they stopped the fight. But they were so happy with the performance, with the little bit of transitional time that I had to train from like kickboxing my whole career, then slowly starting to be able to do knees, and then now training full Muay Thai. It was like, whoa, this is awesome. And then, so 2004 is over. 2005, I say I'm coming back, and they're like, yes. We got you, like, and then they set up a fight for me at Lumpini Stadium. So the old Lumpini Stadium, not the new one where like one championship takes place, is the old Lumpini Stadium where the Ramon Deckers, the Kobans, the Samats, like all those guys were fighting in. So I remember it being very nerve-wracking, Mo. I remember, so in Thailand, you would day of arrive to the stadium and you would go get checked out by the doctors and do the weigh-in at 8 a.m. After everything's good, you come back. I came back at 5 p.m. to check in. So I fought in like the primetime evening. My fight was like highlighted as the co-main event for that night. And I just remember when I first walked into the stadium, Mo, I just looked around and it was just like I had to take like a deep breath and like an exhale. And I was just like, holy crap. Just, you know, taking it all in, like, man, so many wars, so many amazing fighters fight here. I was like, and I'm here, and I'm going to do it too. Like, wow. So it was very, you know, I was able to win 3 titles in my career. I still hold that Lumpini Stadium, even though it was just a normal fight. That's on my pedestal. Like, that was like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful. And I won by decision, unanimous decision. So that was even cooler. But yeah, it was such a memorable fight for me. Because it's not like, and then back then too, what a lot of people don't know, back then you didn't see a lot of Americans getting that opportunity. Americans, if you fought, you'd fight in the small stadium. Like, for me to be able to fight at Lumpini, like, I got paid more too, but it was equivalent to the $100. $100 US. But
that's a lot out there.
But my trainer, when he saw how much I got paid, he was like, thumbs up. He's like, whoa, good. And I got bonus pay because I got a little cut. So they gave me like bonus pay for getting cut.
Sick.
I was like, that's cool. But it was only equivalent to $100 US.
So you got like 200 pretty much? Or total was 100?
No, 100.
Oh, total?
Yeah, so however that is in baht at that time, like, it was equivalent to $100 US.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't care. Like, that was the coolest experience ever.
Yeah.
I remember a fun little fact. I was going to wear like my own custom shorts. And then when I was about to walk up, they were like, no, he needs to have some shorts that say Lumpini on it. And so my opponent also, same thing. He was wearing some custom shorts that he had made. They're like, no, you got, so they went and grabbed some like Lumpini shorts that they had and gave us red and blue that said Lumpini on it. And I thought, wow, that's cool. I didn't know, like, when you fight at Lumpini Stadium, at least at that time, you had to have something that represented Lumpini Stadium.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was kind of a cool little, fact.
Yeah. So your shorts always have to have like a Lumpini patch or something?
Yeah.
But you can make custom, right?
You can make custom, yeah, but it has to say Lumpini on it. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I don't know if it's changed over the years, but back then, yeah, they were like, you have to wear Lumpini shorts. I was like, okay, this is cool.
Have you visited Lumpini since then? Like
No.
their new location?
No,
or not location, their new building, I guess.
No, I haven't. I mean, the last time I went to Thailand was 2010.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So I'm definitely on the verge of going, maybe within the next year or two, I'll definitely be going to visit because I need to see what's changed.
Yeah, I see all this. Most of the big stadiums have been doing like, went through like a thing of construction, like Raja, dude.
Yeah.
That thing is sick looking right now.
amazing.
That's my favorite one right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of their stuff.
Yeah. They do that RWS. That's super cool.
I thought that was at Raj. Was that at Raj?
It is. Yeah. So they do that RWS, and yeah, that place.
Dude, the TVs on the.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's why I like it.
And if anyone knows, those things are expensive.
Yeah. It's like a mini, like what's that circle in Vegas? It's like a mini one of those, I feel like.
Oh, shoot.
It's like it's got a bunch of TVs just on the roof and they just play stuff. They just play stuff.
Oh my gosh.
It's cool. And then all the lights and all that. I was like, that's
cool.
a cool stadium, you know?
That is.
I've never been to Thailand. I need to check it out though. I'm curious to check out the gyms, just the stadiums and all that. I did go to Vietnam once and I trained out there. I don't know if it's similar.
Okay.
Why not, you know?
I'm sure it's probably similar. It's a little similar, I'm sure, but nothing's like the Mecca. You got to go to the Mecca of Muay Thai, which is Thailand.
Yeah. I went out to Vietnam to visit family, and while I was out there,
How was the training though?
I don't know. Literally, like I said, he didn't let me spar.
Oh, damn.
There was a fight team, but they didn't let me train with the fight team. And they told me it was because no one spoke English. I really think it was because they're scared of someone getting hurt or having a bad experience and putting a bad review. Because it was like a commercial gym. Like, it was like super clean. It had like it had 4 levels to it, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, it was a nice gym.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was $30 a day to train there, American.
Okay.
Which over there is like, I don't know, like $100 VDM, you know?
Oh my God.
I know, it was a nice looking gym, and I was like, this is
4
cool.
levels? Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, I got a video somewhere on my Google account. But yeah, they didn't let me really train hard, so that kind of sucked. But I get it. Like I said, like one bad review could shut them down. You know what I mean? It's like a tourist spot, so they're probably scared. But I'll check out Thailand one day.
Yeah. You got to. And I think you'll probably get some cool footage. Like, I'm sure you'll get like inspired to like interview someone or something?
I would love to be able to interview.
Definitely bring your stuff, bring your equipment.
Yeah, I would love to interview a Thai person there, a Thai fighter. I just got to learn the language, or hopefully they speak English. But
Yeah,
I think
I'm sure they could have someone like translate for you.
Yeah, I think I should try to learn a little bit so we could like do this like Thai English.
Yeah, that'd be cool, bro.
You know?
That would be cool, man.
Yeah. So you fought in Lupani, and then that was when you were like 16, I think.
I was 25.
Oh, you're 25. I'm sorry. Okay, so you're 25. So that was probably towards the end of your career, I'm assuming.
Yeah, towards the end.
When you came back, did you feel like were you still fighting down here, or did you already?
I was, yeah. I 25, so I fought for another 3 years. For another 3 years, and then I had to hang my glove, so to speak, because my mom and Kru Rex, now the relationship's getting tarnished, so now we split as a family. So then I had to take over the reins of being head coach.
Yeah. Divorce.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah.
Not common with Asians though. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, it happens. So when they split, I'm assuming they just had you start taking over the gym, or was it still run by all three of you?
It was basically like, at that time, it was just Kru Rex went off and did his own thing. I think at that time, he went with Kru Brian Dobler, who... Double Dose, yes, over in Fontana. Mm-hmm. He went over there. And so it was just my mom and I doing our thing.
Yeah, Double Dose, that's a good gym too.
Yeah.
That's why I like talking to you. You're just telling me all this history, bro.
Yeah, because Kru Brian has known me since I was a kid. I remember growing up watching him fight. Like,
damn.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's cool because a lot of the old school OGs, like, they've known me since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. You know, they know my sister being a little, like, youngin' too. Like, they've known my family, so it's pretty neat. And then getting compliments from them, like, you know, you're doing so great, keep up the good work. And I'm like, oh, man, thank you. So it means a lot.
When I interviewed you for the Muay Thai Awards, I believe you mentioned your sister had started training before you?
Yeah.
And
not training before me, but started fighting before me.
Yeah. How was her career? Did you feel like you had to live up to a certain expectation?
No, because to be honest, she fought 2, maybe 3 times, and that was it. Like, I was the only one that stuck with it. That was it. But she was so talented, Mo. I wish I had some footage I could show you. You'd be impressed. You'd be like, what the? She was ahead of her time. Yeah. You know, and being a girl, there weren't really many young girls wanting to fight. So all the times that I remember her fighting were boys. Like, she was fighting boys. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. You know?
When I see girls pick up striking sports, I feel like they generally are more cleaner. I don't know if you noticed that, but at least at my gym, they're just more. I just feel like the way that a female's brain works is they're more like analytical about how they do things versus the dude. We just rely on speed and power, you know. Yeah. So we're just like chucking. Yeah. The chicks will sit there and be like, "Oh, that was my footwork." That was
I will agree with you. I will always say a woman tends to pick up the technique better because she listens.
That too.
Because she listens to how the coach is explaining the technique and how to throw, where the guy's like, yeah. I want to just hit hard, and you know, I want to get this already. So I find that's what I've seen throughout the years too. The women students typically will get the technique faster than the guy, just because they're just simply listening and applying.
Yeah, we're just cavemen. Yeah. Women make everything pretty, bro. They do everything. Oh, okay. So here's a question I have for you. Okay. So from when you started fighting to when you decided to hang up the gloves, what was that transition like, and what was the catalyst for that?
The transition was definitely, like I said, inspired by my sister. I saw her fight and I was like, dude, she's doing so good. Like, it made me want to get in there and do it too. And then when I got in there and I was like, holy crap, I like this. So I just kept doing it, but I did it more for like a hobby, you know. I did it as a hobby with aspirations of being a pro fighter. And then even as a pro, I just did it because I loved it. I didn't care that I didn't really get paid very much, especially at that time. You don't really get paid much, but I did it because I loved it. I did it because I love the art, I love the sport. And that was honestly, I'm trying to think, like, was there any other catalyst to it? No, it was just because I loved it.
Was it hard, like, transitioning from fighter to coach?
I would say only when I was actively fighting still, and then having to coach as well. That was tough. Because me as a fighter, when I would prepare for matches, I'm in a zone. Like, I don't really want to talk to people. Like, I'm there at the gym just to do my work. I'll talk to you after I'm done. But if you see me coming in to warm up, like, I'm in a zone. Like, I don't want to talk to you while I'm jump roping. I don't want to talk to you like while I'm shadow boxing. Like, let me be me kind of thing, right? So being a coach, it's like you're constantly trying to give back, but then having to decipher like, okay, now it's my time. And then when it's your time, students will still come and try to interrupt. So that for me, that was tough. So I found that I had to do it when Kru Rex was there, so people would talk to Kru Rex and I could just do my thing, you know. But I would just say it was definitely hard because I'm sure other coaches will agree that we're fighters as well. Being a fighter and a coach at the same time, I think, is a little difficult because when you're fighting, you focus on you. But when you're coaching, you focus on others. And then sometimes it's a weird thing of trying to balance both. Like, focus on you, but give back to others. It's kind of hard. So I always say it's easier just to be a fighter. And then it's just easier to be a coach.
Yeah, don't mix them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked that because I feel like from what I've seen, when fighters go from fighting to ending their career and being a coach, I feel like it's hard for a lot of them, dude. It's like they don't want to let that go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, you get older, you have kids, and your reaction time slows down a little.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate aspect of aging, you know?
Yeah. But I think some enjoy it just because it still allows them to still be in it. Mm-hmm. Like, they're still holding pads for people. They still might be moving around with people, and it just keeps them alive.
Yeah.
You know, I think some will say that, and some will be the same. Like, man, I just miss it. I don't think I want to be a coach because it's too hurtful. Like, right, being a coach and I can't do it too. Like, it makes them feel a certain way. So I think it just depends on the individual. But from all the coaches that I know, they all love what they do. They're like, my time has passed. You know, I'm older now. I can't be getting beat up like that. So let me give back to my students all the stuff that I've learned.
Yeah, that's and not every good fighter is a good coach.
True.
And some good coaches weren't even good fighters. Or even I've met some coaches that they never fought. They just trained, and they have that type of brain where they can break stuff down very well. You know,
yeah.
I envy that, dude. I'm like, damn, I wish I had a technical brain like that. You know?
Yeah. No, I definitely knew that, and that's why, as becoming a coach, I wanted to be the best of both worlds. I wanted to not only be a fighter, like a good fighter, but also be a good coach that could help teach the stuff that worked for me, transition that to my students, and teach them, like, look, I practice what I preach. If we're sparring, okay, look, I'm going to do exactly what I just taught you. Oh, wow. So they see it in application, you know. So it's crazy, though. You're right. It is crazy how some fighters just don't make the best coaches. But I think you just have to care, like you have to have a certain characteristic about you that genuinely cares and wants to pass that knowledge. Because if you have that, you'll be an amazing coach. Mm-hmm. And then I just think if you have done it, you've been in the ring, whether you are a good fighter or not, you've been in the ring, you've experienced it. You've experienced the emotions, the fear, the highs, the lows, the obstacles, the emotional setbacks, the obstacles that life has to bring, and then you still had to go out there and perform. Whether you won or lost, you experienced that. And so when you have upcoming fighters that maybe are preparing for a title match, and maybe they're kind of in this weird funk in their head, you can relate because you know you've been there. Whereas opposed to a coach that maybe hasn't experienced that, doesn't really know how to talk to the fighter out of that, right? Mm-hmm. But some coaches are just amazing, you know, that maybe they don't have to do it. They're just great at what they do. Maybe they dabble in psychology. Maybe they're able to, like, break things down and then, you know, pass it on to the students. I don't know, but I just, at least I appreciate the fact that I've been there and I've done it, and I know what it's like when you're fighting for a big fight that means a lot. The pressure is on you. Like, I can talk to my fighters about that stuff. You know, I can help talk them out of their emotions, and Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for anyone that is considering opening up their own gym? I know you spoke that how, as of recent, you kind of left your gym, kind of left coaching. I'm sure there was a lot of stress involved with that. Is there anything you want to speak on?
You know what? You hear that a lot. I was never stressed.
No, you loved it?
Yeah. I genuinely love what I do, Mo. Yes, but I'm not saying I didn't have problems. I had coaches like not showing up, just taking off. They tell me I'm giving you 2 weeks, Kru Neil. Oh, okay. They stay a week and they just disappear. I've had people like that too. I didn't stress out. It came with the territory. But I think that has something to do with my Muay Thai training. It always keeps me zen and calm. But any advice to a gym owner, number one, make sure you love what you do, because it's going to transition to your gym, right? If you genuinely love what you do, the community that you bring into your gym is going to feel that love and passion that you bring to the sport every day, and they're going to get addicted to that. So that would be the first advice. Like, make sure you love what you do, because I'm sure anytime someone comes across anyone that's really passionate about what they do, you feel it, right? And you almost get sucked into that. You're just kind of like, wow, you almost get excited, even though you might not do the things that they do, but you're interested. You're like, man, this person's very wow, you get intrigued by it, right? So I would recommend that, number one. Number two, I would say try your best to hire coaches from within. Build up your students where you can build from within, because those students understand your philosophy, your fight philosophy, the way you teach, the way the gym runs, and they know the community. It's a lot easier. Sometimes it's harder when you bring outside coaches. They're coming from a different atmosphere, they're coming from different coaching, and sometimes when you bring in outside coaches, that can kind of interfere with the structure or the way you're trying to run things. That would be the second thing of advice. Third advice would definitely be social media presence, right? Social media presence, you definitely got to try and build up your social media, because it's free advertising, it's free exposure, but people nowadays want to get a feel for your gym. And the only way they can do that is not through a website, not through YouTube videos, it's through social media, looking at your stories, looking at your posts. So post daily, post at least once a day, or at least once every 2-3 days. But if you're not posting every day, stories, encourage your students to tag, because your students have an audience. And maybe one day your students' audience is watching, they have a friend and they're watching you, and you're posting up a gym at Spider Muay Thai, and they're like, hey, you know what? I'm feeling like I want to try something new. And now they hit the friend up, and now the friend brings them over to Spider Muay Thai, and then there you go. You end up having someone who never knew about Muay Thai till that day, and then they love it now, and you bring someone into it. So I would say those are some good starting points for sure. And just try to just spread the art of Muay Thai, that's it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I could give a lot more, but this podcast would go a lot longer. I would break stuff down.
Yeah. Kru Neil, man, I've been following you for a minute. I love your posts. They're so always motivational, man.
Oh, thank you.
Everything you post, I'm like, man, you make me feel good about myself today, dude. Thank you for everything you've done in the community, man. I appreciate this interview,
Of course.
Hopefully one day, we can meet in training at a gym somewhere if you're at a new endeavor. If not, that's fine,
Okay.
But I would love to learn your style and stuff what you've been, what you can pass down. Okay. I'm getting tongue-tied. I'm about to cry. Kru Neil, it was a pleasure. Thank you. Everyone at home watching, if you want to check out Kru Neil, he's no longer MTK, but I'll post his socials. You should definitely follow him if you want to feel good about yourself. If you want to learn some cool Muay Thai, and if you have some questions for him, maybe hit him up. Maybe he'll give you an answer. Absolutely. Go to a successful gym, it's hard. So, everyone, thanks for watching. Goodbye.